We're super excited to be starting some of these live classes here with OwnStars. Today, we're going to be doing a Metta practice. So this is a meditation for loving kindness. I'm just going to finish putting on my microphone real quick. Sorry about the delay this morning, everyone. Here we go. I would recommend that during the Metta practice, as much as possible, try to be comfortable. So if you're not comfortable sitting, then I recommend for the Metta practice to just, you could even consider lying down. If you know that you're going to get cold or you want a bolster or something to sit on, please feel welcome to grab that. Okay, let me just make sure that you'll actually be able to see me when I go on the cushion. There we go. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay. So, all the way over there. Now, welcome everyone. This is going to be about a half an hour meditation practice. And we're going to start off with some mindfulness, and then we'll move into Metta practice. Metta practice is loving kindness. So again, I want you to be comfortable. I'm going to wrap myself in this shawl right here because I tend to get a little chilly while I'm sitting. So take a moment and get very comfortably and well situated. Then close your eyes. Gently bring your hands together. We'll initiate the space of our practice with the sound Om. A long deep breath in. As you exhale, rest your hands down to any comfortable position. Taking a moment to redirect the mind into the inner world from whatever you've experienced throughout the day today, whether your mind feels fresh or you feel kind of bogged down, whatever your experience has been. Take a few moments now to redirect your attention inward. We'll begin with 3 points of mindfulness to anchor your awareness within yourself. First, become aware of your breath. Notice your breath. Notice whether your breath is deep or shallow, whether your breath feels fatigued, light, easy. Using the awareness of the breath as an opportunity to practice equanimity, which means not judging what you experience. It's so easy for the mind to say good and bad, to say that the breath or that anything should be one way or the other. When we practice mindfulness, we practice being free from the state of should. So allow your mind to simply be aware of the inflowing breath as the inflowing breath, the outflowing breath as the outflowing breath. Maintaining that same state of equanimity, a state of non-judgment. Direct your mind into awareness of your body and simply be aware of how your body feels. You may tune in first to sensations in the extremities, your fingers, toes, hands and feet, or perhaps you feel your face or the top of the head. Just observe what you feel. Whatever sensations seem to arise within the body, simply be aware. Notice, for example, the temperature of your body, warm or cool. Notice the feeling of the muscles in the body, engaged, activated, worked, sore, or energized, light and free. Simply observe. Then gently be aware of the whole body. And you can do this by lightly scanning your attention through the entire field of the body. Noticing your head, your neck, your shoulders, legs, arms, feet, and torso. And just noticing what body parts feel alive, which body parts give you sensation, and which are kind of a little bit sleepy. No judgment, just pure observation. And take a few moments just to be with the body, just as you had a few moments to be with the breath. The third point of mindful awareness is more subtle. Notice the quality of your thoughts. Notice the texture of your emotions. So you can observe thoughts, thinking, feeling, simply as it is. So if there's a strong emotion, you observe whatever emotion has arisen. If there's a thought that has arisen, you observe thinking. And perhaps notice the type of thoughts: negative thought, positive thought, neutral thought, positive emotion, negative emotion, neutral. And in this way, you can move your sense of identity away from the world of thinking, away from the material world, and begin to cultivate the seat of equanimity, the higher consciousness. It is only from the seat of higher consciousness that you can begin to truly practice the state of metta, the state of loving kindness. Only by removing your ego is the heart, the soul, the spirit truly equipped for the boundless state of compassion. After a few moments of mindfulness, recognize that these few moments are merely a beginning to what is truly a lifelong practice of training the mind to identify beyond the material, beyond the ego. So again, your breath, your body, the mind. The practice of mindfulness observes breath as breath, body as body, mind as mind, and generates no attachment, no aversion, but is simply aware of what is. Not running away from what is assigned or designated as negative, not clinging to what is normally associated as positive, not getting bored or wanting something other than what is neutral, just observing what is. After a few moments of mindfulness, your consciousness begins to be more clear. The awareness of the true state of your being becomes more apparent. And now we are prepared to practice metta, that heart-centered meditation which cultivates the active and embodied state of love and kindness. So bring your attention to your heart center. For a moment, feel your heart space. You might find yourself naturally taking a deeper breath, a sigh, or perhaps a heave, or some other change that may naturally come when you bring your attention to the heart. Almost as though there's a sense of relief that comes from really just tapping into and feeling the heart center. So notice your breath at the level of the heart, the center of the chest, behind the sternum. Feel your body at the level of the heart. Feel the body on the inside, underneath the sternum. And feel the space around the body at the level of the heart. So you tap into the energy, the vibrational being that you are, beyond the physical. Notice how the mind changes, how the emotions change when you bring your attention to the heart. You might notice a feeling of depth. You might notice a vulnerability. You might notice an achy sensation, tingly sensation, vibrating, pulsating. Something hard to describe. And just hold the heart space for a moment. Just hold the heart space for a moment. If you've had a particularly difficult day or a particularly difficult time recently, just bringing your attention to the heart can bring up all sorts of emotions. You might find yourself suddenly weepy, almost as though simply by holding the heart, it releases. Be here with that for a moment and feel your heart center as the epicenter of the breath. Breath moving in through the heart, breath moving out through the heart. Breath moving in through the heart, breath moving out through the heart. Feel the awareness of the body at the level of the heart. Feel the awareness of the space around the body emanating forth from the heart, so that you tune into the vibrational being that you are, charged with the frequency of the heart. Notice whatever emotion is most present for you right now. It may be positive, it may be negative, it may be neutral. We'll use that as the starting point for metta. If you're feeling a positive emotion, then continue to anchor that. If you feel happiness, joy, or bliss, simply invite that to spread out from the heart center and fill the entire energy space that you are. If you feel that there's no emotion, there's a neutral space, nothing seems evident, that's okay. Then you can plant the seeds of happiness, plant the seeds of joy. So feel in the heart space, may I be happy. May I be friends with myself. May I feel better and better. May I find joy in every moment of my life. May I step into alignment with peace, with harmony, with love. And if you're feeling very strong negative emotions, you feel tension, irritation, anger, don't worry, that's okay. It can be there. Give yourself permission to welcome in the shadow side, even when we practice metta. And then allow yourself to tap into and embrace your anger, embrace your sadness, embrace your worry, your fear. Everything that's there, embrace it, let it be. Give it space. And in that space, perhaps you notice that the very rawness and power of anger, anxiety, tension, depression, even hatred, at the very root and rawness of that is a desire to be free. So direct whatever seeds of violence, seeds of negativity may be circulating around the heart, tightness, anxiety, irritation, and recognize the pull that guides you to be free. Never do we desire health more than when we are sick. Never do we desire love more than when we feel hate. Never do we desire true freedom more than when we're burdened with anxiety. Never do we desire rest more than when we are deeply, deeply exhausted. So feel what you feel, don't push it away. But then feel the heart center as a temple, and using the rawness of what you feel, ask for a way out. May I be free. May I find my way out of my suffering. May I find true happiness. May I find the way to make peace. Peace with myself, peace with those whom have harmed me. May I find the way to embody real happiness. May I find the path to true healing. May I be guided to step into alignment with my highest self. Perhaps you can feel your way to a little bit of relief. For a moment now, feel again the heart space, breath moving in through the level of the heart, breath moving out through the level of the heart. Now in your heart space, open and expand your heart. Feel the presence of a being whom you care about, who perhaps is suffering. It could be yourself. It could be a friend, a family member, someone who's going through a hard time. Or it could be a whole group, a community who is suffering deeply right now. Hold this being or this group of beings in your heart space. Feel their suffering. Feel their pain. Recognize that when you love someone and they are suffering, you are suffering too. So take a moment here in the open space of Metta and feel with true empathy their suffering. May you, dear one, community whom I love, being whom I love, or myself whom I love, may you be free from suffering. May you be safe and secure. May you be truly at peace with yourself. May all beings treat you with respect, with kindness, and with love. May you and I live in peace and harmony. May we always be friends and support one another. May we be filled with love. May we be successful. May we be blessed by powers that are greater and grander than we can imagine ourselves. May you come out of your misery. May you find the way to healing, to truth, to harmony and real love. Now expand your heart. Again, feel the heart. Breath moving in, breath moving out at the level of the heart. Feel the connection to all your fellow meditators now. Here we are, connected, sitting together, expanding our hearts together. Feel our connection through the non-local experience of consciousness itself. Feel our vibration knit together through the mesh of the heart. Every being sitting with us now, connected at the level of the heart, the vibration at the level of the heart, expanding outward through each city that we're in, through each country that we're in. Feel the palpable increase in energy as all of our energies connect together to create a multiplied whole, something greater than each of us individually, a network through the fibers of love, connected outward and inward, infinitely. Feel our connection grow, feel the presence of love in our hearts grow, as we multiply and multiply and multiply the presence of love in our hearts. May we all be happy. Those of us who are sitting now and who are suffering, may we all be free from suffering. Those of us who are meditating, joining now, who are in pain, whose bodies are sick and injured and in need of healing, may we find true healing. May we be granted, through grace, the miracle of true healing. May our pain be lessened. May the burden of sickness, injury be lifted off of our shoulders. May we all be friends. May we be kind and support one another. May we all be safe and secure, free from anxiety, protected, supported by one another and supported by the universe. May we all be filled with love. May we forgive each other, forgive ourselves, forgive one another. May we move into true compassion. Feel the breath moving in through the heart, breath moving out through the level of the heart. Now it expands even more outward. Feel the presence of all beings in your city, human and non-human, all the plants, all the animals, all the human beings, in all different walks of life, those cherished pets that we hold dearly, the wild animals whom we may see here and there, the birds, the bees, the butterflies, all the animals that roam freely, all the working animals, the industrial animals, the cows, the pigs, and other animals who are in industry, all the beings of the water, in every lake and river and sea and ocean, all the sea creatures, all the human beings, those whom you know dearly, those whom you consider friends, whom are in your inner circle, those whom are far away, whom you may never know, and yes, also those whom you may consider to be antagonistic, annoying, or even an enemy, them too. Those whom are rich, those whom are poor, those whom have a home, those whom do not. All different human beings in your city, in your country, expanding outward. Feel the presence of all the beings in your country, expanding outward, the countless, limitless beings on the earth right now, every blade of grass, every insect, every flying being, every human being, all these countless beings, the earth itself, every living being imbued with the same right to happiness, the same right to life. True equality exists perhaps only in the realm of the spirit, only in the realm of true consciousness. And it is here that as a brother and a sister with all beings, brother sun and sister moon, mother earth and father sky, that we find ourselves able to truly hold the space of boundless love and compassion for all beings, beings of the spirit, our angels and guides, and every other being on the other side. The infinite expanse of beings, limitless beings, outwards in the universe itself, the divine presence that is the beating heart of the universe. May all beings be happy, feel happiness as a wave emanating outward from yourself to include all beings. May all beings be peaceful. Feel every living being at peace. May all beings come out of their misery and find real truth, real liberation. May all beings be safe and secure. May all beings live in harmony. Feel the embodied state of harmony expanding outward. Every being living at peace, forgiveness, compassion, kindness, and respect for one another. May all beings be filled with love. Feel the vibration of love now as a wave that emanates outward and crests on the shores of consciousness, so that love emanates outward. May all beings rest in love, compassion, and kindness. May all beings be friends. May all beings be filled with love. Love for oneself, love for one another, love for all beings. Bring your attention now back to your own heart center. Feel breath moving in at the level of the heart, breath moving out at the level of the heart. And now plant the words, 3 simple words towards yourself. I love you. 3 simple words towards your fellow meditators. I love you. 3 simple words towards all beings, towards every single being. I love you. I love you. I love you. And in the channel of the heart, welcome back the presence of love. That which you send out into the universe returns to you tenfold. So feel it double, that energy, that vibration that you feel at the heart space. Feel it double and double again until you are literally vibrating, overflowing with a pure embodied state of boundless love, boundless compassion. Cherish this space, relish this space. Recognize the truth of who you are in this space, the truth of who every being is in this space of love, compassion, and kindness. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be filled with love. Hands come together at the level of the heart. As you exhale, softly open the eyes. Good. Thank you so much for joining me on this Metta practice. It's been really lovely for me to share this time with you. I'll share something with you also about this practice, is that the power of meditation to actually change the state of your thoughts and make a palpable difference in what you could call your vibration, your vibrational state is real. I woke up this morning after a very fitful night of sleep. I actually slept really, really poorly last night and was just in kind of a horrible mood, to be honest with you. And, I did my yoga practice. I did my own sitting practice this morning and was able to shift a little bit. There's nothing like not getting a good night's sleep that kind of disturbs my mood. I have to say, I'm a big sleeper. I really enjoy sleep. There are some people that don't sleep very much. I personally really, really like sleep. So during this metta practice, I started off with quite a negative emotion when I tuned into my own heart. I felt the, tiredness and frustration and irritation and just kind of a general icky feeling. And I recognized that so many people, when they hear about cultivating metta or loving kindness, feel really intimidated because they come with the average irritations of just living life in a body on earth, which is sometimes we have a bad night's sleep and sometimes we have a good night's sleep and sometimes we have difficult life circumstances. Sometimes we're overwhelmed by what's happening in our own lives. Sometimes we're overwhelmed by what's happening in the world around us and we end up feeling completely stuck and caught. So we think about, how can I, with all the anger and bitterness and hatred that I have inside of me, how can I be worthy of cultivating metta? So that's why I like to begin with a few moments of mindfulness to draw the attention inward, but more than anything, to really recognize whatever emotion is present for you, to recognize that when you feel anger, hatred, bitterness, irritation, it's not wrong. You don't need to run away from it. You need to be afraid of it, not in yourself and not in someone else. In fact, it's those shadow sides of yourself that offer perhaps the most potential for truly desiring a way out of the fruits of what generating more hatred, more negativity, more ill will, more anxiety really are. It's in the midst of when we're really, really suffering that we feel the most motivated to change. So when I teach metta, I want it to be very real and very practical for you so that you can understand that you can actually shift from where you are into a more happy and sort of, balanced emotional state. What's interesting about this is it's not avoiding, but it's moving yourself into a space where you can actually be effective. It's moving yourself into a space where you can actually make a difference in your life and the lives of people around you. So, for example, if we go back to my morning, in a state where I'm irritated and touchy, the things I'm going to focus on are going to be more things that are, irritating, more things that are potentially problems, more things that are potentially, you know, going to generate more negativity. I'm just going to be in that state. You know, that's the kind of the quality of mind that I'm in, you know, an irritated state. And by not recognizing that, by not tuning into it, by just avoiding and running away from it, actually somehow make it worse. When you can hold whatever it is that you're feeling, sit with it, and recognize that that space too holds a great potential for growth and evolution, then you're doing so much to grow spiritually, and then you also have the potential to shift your vibration. So many people immediately they feel anger and they just go, how can I be happy right now? No, sit with your anger. There's wisdom in your anger. If you're, you know, feeling anxiety, sit with your anxiety for a moment. Don't wallow in it, don't feed it, just sit with it. Recognize anxiety is present. And then sit with it. And what's interesting about sitting with the anxiety for a moment or the irritation or the frustration for a moment is in the act of holding it, we take away the resistance, we take away the fight against it. And in that space, we can see it for what it is. Anxiety is usually holding the desire, you know, to be free, to be supported, to be taken care of, to be safe and secure. Anger is often holding the desire to be treated with respect. Anger is often holding the desire to be, you know, treated as an equal, treated justly. Anger is often a, you know, a valid response to injustice. Sadness, depression is often really valid when there are traumatic and heartbreaking things that happen in our worlds and in our lives. And to think that, you know, that that's wrong, we can't cultivate metta and send out love because we hold these spaces in our heart, you know, it's a great injustice. It's a great, you know, it deprives us of the growth of what it means to be a true spiritual practitioner. When we understand that it is our sadness, it is our anger, it is this shadow side that makes us whole, only then can we really truly embrace sending metta out. Love is not whole. That doesn't include both the yin and the yang, the, you know, the light and the shadow. Love is only, you know, rainbows and sparkles and sunshine. Then it's, you know, just an ad for some kind of candy. I don't know. You know, and then we're looking at, you know, Lucky Charms or something like that, which I don't have anything against Lucky Charms. I think I ate a bunch of those when I was a child, which contributed to numerous cavities. So who knows? Maybe I do have it in for Lucky Charms. Anyhow, if we only want to be in the Lucky Charms commercial, then we're going to end up finding a two-dimensional spirituality, and we won't be able to cultivate true metta. If you only can love when things are happy and good, you can only generate love when things are happy and good, then our spirituality is, you know, two-dimensional, superficial, kind of plastic. If you can generate love in the midst of anger and not force the anger to run away, you know, then we're doing a lot to really walk along the true embodied state of what it means to truly love all beings, you know, including ourselves. When we're feeling anger, when we're feeling sadness, frustration, irritation, that sort of thing. Now, the other interesting thing is that as long as you are fueling the cycle of anger, misery, depression, anxiety, frustration, irritation, as long as you're on that train, statistically, it's shown that we don't take really, really good decisions. And I mean, I don't think we need a scientific study to recognize that when you're mad at the world, the kind of decisions that you take when you're irritated are ones that you might regret when you dial down your irritation a little bit later. I've done that numerous times myself when, for example, maybe I found myself, you know, in an argument with someone. It's true, I'm a yogi and I have had disagreements with people in the past, including, you know, my friends, family members, and loved ones, and including, you know, your average annoyance with the world and those headlines that come in on your phone notifications or computer notifications, or, you know, however you get your news. And I noticed that whenever I'm fueling the cycle of how can I be more irritated, how can I be more mad, I put myself in an echo chamber that actually increases my irritability. And then whatever decisions I take will fuel that cycle. If I meditate, bring myself into a metta space, I come out, and then somehow I revisit the same problem, since I'm in a happier space, the type of solutions that I think about, the type of ideas that come to me when I'm in a happy space are just more effective. And this is, you know, the science of happiness, the science of positive psychology is what's been able to document this. And, you know, it's Albert Einstein that says you can't solve a problem from the same level of thinking that created it. And whenever you're engaged in kind of an antagonistic relationship with somebody, you're angry at something, you're holding that anger, you're locked in, you and your enemy are locked in. So to break that cycle, my experience has been in my own life, whenever I've been angry at someone, is that I've had to shift my vibration to another level, to embrace my joy, to embrace what is truly liberating for me. And then even if that's just going for a walk on the beach, even if it's doing the metta practice, or it's doing some kind of yoga practice, or, you know, doing anything that'll shift my state into my own happiness, to embrace my joy, then I'll be able to go back and look at that problem from a higher perspective. And, you know, the anger may still be there, the injustice may still be there, but because I've shifted, then perhaps I'm able to see something in a new space. So this is something to really think about now in our world today, that if you find yourself in a situation where you feel there are even grievous injustices that are out there, and you find yourself, you know, really, really bogged down and you know, fighting against them, sometimes it can feel counterproductive to actually cultivate joy within yourself, to actually claim your joy. But remember that if you claim your joy, your metta, your loving kindness, you're actually more effective at organizing and, you know, initiating whatever change it is you seek to embody in the world. And in that way, your joy can be kind of a mini personal revolution. Says, you know what, I can speak out against whatever injustice may be there. I can, you know, embrace my sadness and be really, really heartbroken about these, you know, situations in my life, whether they're from the global perspective, you know, the social perspective, or the personal perspective. And when we're facing great loss, you know, for example, every single individual on this earth at some moment will experience grief. We will. This is just a fact of life. It's not something we like to think about, particularly in the United States. We kind of have a grief avergent culture, but everyone will lose a loved one at some moment, whether it's a parent that will pass away at a ripe old age, or if we have the heartbreaking loss of losing a friend, you know, a sibling, or even a child. To lose a dear one like that is overwhelmingly heartbreaking. In the midst of grief, one of the things that's so confusing is that you can be overwhelmed with sadness and hurt, which is valid. You want to let that in. But then you can flip and experience joy and remember the joy of life, whether it's looking at a flower or whether a beam of sunlight seems to pop in, that those two states of really, really heartbrokenness or really deep grief and loss are real. And at the same time, your joy is there. Your ability to love still remains. And this is, I think, one of the deeper lessons of what metta actually means. Rather than just saying peace, love, and happiness, let's spread it out into the world. It's like, oh no, this is so much deeper than that. This is growing your heart so big, big enough that you're able to contain all your sadness and all your joy, all your anger and all your love, all your anxiety and all your hopefulness in kind of one space in your heart center. And to me, that's the essence of what it means to really cultivate metta. If you put your heart and soul into this practice can really change your life. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say today. If anybody has any questions, we can chat a little bit about any questions that have potentially come up as I come a little back closer to the computer. I see there are some questions or some people that have put the notes in the chat. So let's go ahead and take a look. Thanks for staying both for the meditation and the talk. I know we didn't advertise that there was a talk, but sometimes things happen. So Mag says to everyone, I had an awful migraine all day and spent all day in bed, but made myself join and see how it goes. I felt overwhelmed, but managed to shift the vibrations. Thanks, Mags. It's really, really important, you know, that we embrace, you know, physical pain as well. I'm so glad that you managed to sit through everything. Return to this meditation if you have another migraine and feel welcome to do it lying down with the lights really, really dim. This is also a totally okay thing to, you know, do. All right. So Paula asks a really good question, which is how do you deal with feeling insincere by sending love to bad people? For example, like politicians. Oh, I feel you on that one. Everybody's got a favorite politician that they love to hate. If not a politician, then I'm sure there's someone that's irritating out there. So here's something that Jack Kornfield says when he's asked the same question, which is that you can certainly see that this, say, politician or bad person, this evildoer in the world. Sometimes I like to there's some boogeyman that's out there that's like this evil person, and we identify this person and I don't know, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, and we kind of like see this person as like Saruman, who's got like the rings, we're gonna get this, we're gonna defeat this, person. We kind of launch ourselves into a tirade against this person. But here's the thing. If you look from a human to human perspective, definitely, this is what Jack Kornfield says, you can probably recognize that this being whom you've identified as evil, who is doing great harm in the world, who is, being a complete jerk in numerous ways that are objectively clear, is suffering themselves. This being is miserable. This being is horrible, as it's just filled with so much negativity that they're spewing it out into the world. So maybe you can't, wish for them to be successful and like get all the jobs that they want and like go around and be like, go on a vacation. You can't really wish for them to like go on a luxury vacation. Like that's totally insincere. But you can wish for them to come out of their misery, because you can objectively say, if this being were to come out of their misery, the world would be a better place. So you can wish for them to wake up from their delusion. You delusional person who cannot see the truth, who lies about the truth. You delusional person, I see you waking up from the truth. Come out of this delusion. Wake up from your misery. This should be able to really see objectively offer to anyone. Second thing, that as a yoga practitioner, as a spiritual practitioner, you ideally are able to recognize how miserable you were when you started and how much better you feel now. So that on a pure being to being level, you can wish for this person to find the path. May you, miserable person who is impacting misery around the world because of the position of power that you sit in, may you find the tools of true spiritual practice. May you see how your actions have harmed others and be motivated to change. So you want to make it real so that it's real for this person. You can see objectively. I mean, imagine if all these politicians who are just miserable in the world and enacting further cycles of suffering. Imagine if they had true spiritual practice, and imagine if they did metta practice instead of, I don't know, yelling at each other in the morning when they're trying to make a law. Imagine if we had a 50-minute, 30-minute metta break in the middle of every session of Congress in the United States. Imagine if on the schedule of every member, every cabinet meeting in the president's office, it was a 30-minute metta and practice or something that would be really, really real, right? So I see there are a few other questions that have come up. One person is asking, what is my attitude towards antidepressants? I would really like to live antidepressant free. So the discussion about depression is quite a big one. I think that many people who are watching have probably read my blogs about this. Is that I have a lot of direct personal experience with depression. I had an undiagnosed cyclical periods of depression since I was 9 years old until I was in my early 30s, and then in a period of intense suicidal ideation, I spoke with a therapist who basically said to me, after my therapist said to me, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to rate you as a 10 on the level of depression. And I think that right now you're at risk of being a danger to yourself. So I'm going to recommend both that you go on medication and also perhaps seek institutional help. And I felt like I was really upset by that. It made me more upset. I felt like I'm a yogi. Like, I don't want to take pharmaceutical drugs. I also have if I'm going to pick a boogeyman, pharmaceutical industry is like high on the level of my boogeymen that I could get mad at really easily. But we won't go there because we pray for them to find their true spiritual path and let that be. Lucid Turn, I just said, let me sit with this. And I sat with it for a good deal of time. And I made the decision that I wanted to exhaust every other possible avenue before going, institutionalizing myself and or going on pharmaceutical medication. So I worked with the naturopath, and I changed therapies actually, because my therapist said, I can't help you anymore. Essentially, she reached the end of her limit. So I switched therapies, and I changed therapies to cognitive behavioral therapy, which I'm so grateful for. It really, really helped me. I recognized that in that period of my life, I had stopped meditating. I actually dropped my meditation practice for about a year, and it's like I couldn't face myself. So I said, I recognized that, and I said, I'm going to start meditating every day. I made a commitment to go back to sit on another Vipassana course. I working with a naturopath, changed my diet, and worked with a lot of supplements that, I'm not the doctor. I would recommend that you work with a naturopath who has the experience, replacing and working with food and supplements to reestablish the chemical balance in the brain. One of the things that became very clear to me, which is where I think pharmaceuticals are really, really helpful, is that depression is a chemical imbalance in your brain. And if you hold the depressed state for a period of time, it changes the biochemistry of your brain. It's real, it's a disease. And sometimes pharmaceuticals are the only thing that keeps you from, enacting those suicidal ideations. So it's real. And sometimes they really, really help. I know that there are some people that have worked themselves off of pharmaceuticals with the help of naturopath, with the help of a therapist that was supportive of it, by slowly lowering the dosages over a long period of time and replacing some of the the chemical substances with changes in diet and changes in more natural based supplements. As part of I've kept some of those supplements with me, but I don't really want to share those because I feel like this is something that was specifically to me. And I feel like if you're going to try to go off of pharmaceuticals, number one, find a therapist that's going to take you through that. Number two, cognitive behavioral therapy really, really helped me. And number three, identify really clearly what your triggers are so that when those arise, you'll be able to immediately seek professional help. Number four, make sure that if you're going to work with a naturopath, that they have experience in what foods and supplements can really work towards reestablishing the biochemical balance of the brain. That includes whether you're going to feel comfortable using something like CBD or other supplements, or numerous other supplements that have been scientifically studied as well. Okay, cool. Well, thank you, everyone. I really, really appreciate spending this time with you. We have another Metta practice on Sunday. The Metta practice on Sunday is for International Yoga Day. It is at 9 a.m. It is also a moon day. So if you're an Ashtangi, you're going to really love the moon day Metta. And otherwise will see you next week for some live classes. And we've got some really awesome live classes here on OMSAR. So nice to see all of you here. This evening, we have a talk with Rob Mack, who is a happiness coach, and he has a degree in positive psychology. So this would be really something awesome to tune into. Otherwise, I just send you a lot of love and really, really enjoy this time with you. So thanks, everyone. Namaste.